Hello, class. This is the first week 1 and 2 talk. Every 2 weeks, I will plan to record a video or audio with or without images to highlight some of the key findings from the readings of the class materials that I assigned for you. And my plan is to do the talk, uh, in this case, in the first week. Um, so you have like in addition to all the materials, you have an overview. You are welcome to watch it by the end of module 2, but this is just because I don't want to leave you without any discussions about the materials that I assigned. So I'm gonna go over some of them, and I'm gonna share with you what I consider is important. First of all, um, in terms of content creation is art, and content creation is science. Now, how is content creation art? Well, there is a creativity portion, and creativity means, like I said in a previous video, there is no right way of developing the creative side. You are working in a team, and you should be in agreement with that part of creativity. That's how content is. I consider content art. Content is also science, and it has more components when it comes to science, which I'm going to detail now. The first component of content being science is there is a plan and there is a process. And when there is a plan, well, we have discussed about what is the objective, um, what do we want to achieve when we develop a press kit, when we develop a piece of social media content, when we decide to change the hashtag strategies. What is the purpose? Secondly, there is a schedule. So you would need to say, okay, these are the pieces of content I want to create, and I have to know how long will it take to reach these milestones. I mean, how long does it take to develop a website? How long does it take to develop a press kit or a social media post? The time frames are different, so you need to have those time frames clear, in such a way that you can meet your deadlines. Content is science too when it comes to best practices. There is a consideration that you need to take regarding what is a strong or a good social media hashtag for my company. What is a good or an engaging image for a Facebook post versus a video post? So there is also some research that you should do to find what those best practices are when you develop the content. Number 4, you should be able to anticipate problems. And that's when you say, what can go wrong when I develop a website, which usually may take, I don't know, 10, 12 months, maybe a little bit more. What can go wrong? What can go wrong with the server? What can go wrong with the content uploads? What could go wrong on the client's side? So if you anticipate that, you will try to look for solutions before these problems arise. This is part of the research process too. When you develop research in the future, one of the parts of the research paper is it's basically anticipating how, what types of problems will your research piece may encounter or your findings. So you should be able to anticipate those. And number 5, and the last one, is that there is time for reviews. If you take a look at your editorial calendar, your peers have to review it from the agency. Your client has to review it. Other peers have to review it and make sure you are all on the same track. So that pretty much summarizes why content creation is art and it's science. One of the other articles that I wanted to talk about with you was Neil Patel's article. He's a well-known influencer along with Guy Kawasaki. I would say those are like my go-to places when I want, besides HubSpot. In terms of influencers, he's more into content marketing. So if you don't know who Neil Patel is, I encourage you to go visit his website. He provides very valuable content, and you can also look at his social media sites. So I encourage you to take a closer look at the content ingredients and the ideas that Neil Patel offers when you are ready to create content. One of these tips, and it's one that he uses a lot, as well as HubSpot. They both offer products besides what the content they offer in their blog posts. So what they both do is they create articles or guides, in this case, to use Instagram hashtags. And then when you click on the article, you have the article, but then there is a button to get like a free guide written by HubSpot too. And when you click on that button, you need to provide your email. So one of the content strategies that you should consider is how it can help you move a buyer during their journey. I started hearing about both Neil Patel and HubSpot because I kept on searching on Google specific terms, and I ended up at most times in both of their websites. Now, at first, since I didn't know who they were, well, I just read the blogs and moved inside the website looking for more information, which is something that you want to achieve with your customers. You don't want them to leave. However, I noticed that in each blog article, both HubSpot and Neil Patel, they offer tools and other products, integrations that they sell, that they offer for a price. And ideally, the customer journey would start in that Google search, where I am looking for information about a particular topic. Let's say I Google what is SEO, right? Search engine optimization. Neil Patel is really good at that. So the first article that I see is from Neil Patel's page. I visit that page. I read the article, very thorough. His articles are super thorough. And then I move inside the website and from one article about SEO to the other. And then I see he has a tool named Ubersuggest that it essentially offers you keyword ideas so you can write content. So I started using the free product, right? And considering the product in the consideration stage of the buyer's journey. And I haven't moved to the next stage, conversion. Why? Because I still don't see the value in terms of the use that is worth making the investment. However, I have gone from the awareness stage to the consideration stage. And that is what happens with HubSpot. HubSpot provides blog posts that, in this example, has actionable tips. Like, you're going to read about Instagram, but then you're going to have guides and you're going to have them show you how to implement what they are saying in the blog are the good practices. So what this means is two things. The first, you need to know who your buyer is or who your audience is. You need to know what the objective of content is. So you can start developing content, ideally using the catchy headlines, like Neil Patel, and putting into practice some of the tips he offers. And the second one is you need to be aware of which stage of the journey is your buyer. but you don't want to offer direct sales approaches within a blog post. So Neil Patel would say, if you have a problem with developing content and keywords for this, then you might want to try Oversuggest tool. And so he puts the examples of the tools, and then he directs you to the page where you can use the tool. So no sales, and consider the content has to be helpful. You know, you want to improve your SEO, and you want this relationship to be a win-win relationship. Okay, so people are searching out content to figure out stuff, to solve problems. So you need to offer them the topics and the content related to the topics that they are searching for. And so that is those are my thoughts about the Neil Patel article. The third article presents the PESO model, and it's a tool so you can make an audit of your current communications strategy and then try to generate ideas for what's missing. So at the beginning of week 1, we talked about owned media and paid media. So this is a good outline. Some of them intersect. I'm going to talk today about earned media and shared media. Earned media is what we call publicity, is what the traditional media, when they publish your press releases, when they cover your stories. I'm sure you know what publicity is, or where you make relationships with bloggers or who you ask to write content about maybe your product or your service. That's earned media. So that is like kind of the coverage that you or your brand or organization earns with a piece of content by publishing a piece of content in the digital world. Also, there is shared media, and this is kind of tricky because you're gonna see that shared media has your social media posts, but those are also owned because you usually, if you created them or your brand created them, they are yours, but maybe you decided to repurpose, to share them, to change the format of a post, to convert a graphic to an infographic, or to do a whiteboard becomes an episode for the podcast, which you potentially shared on other channels. So these 4 areas each presents an opportunity to create content, and it should serve as a guide for you to see what's missing and where are there opportunities that you may want to capitalize on those to expand your content further. Each week, we're going to share with you some of the case studies. In this case, it's a case study about a campaign for Home Depot rentals, which won an award in the content marketing category. And so this is a nice way of visualizing what makes a good campaign. You see, in the case, you will see that they had a situation or a problem. Basically, they had to do the rebranding campaign. They went through the process of carefully identifying who their target was, and then began to develop objectives. What did they want to achieve? And as soon as they found out that one of the objectives was, awareness, website clicks, they decided, okay, these are going to be the 3 parts of the strategy. We're going to relaunch the website with a new branding. We are going to work on a blog, and we're going to do social media posts. And each of those strategies and tactics responded to the objectives that you will see on the list, on the document. So they responded through to a problem that they had. They addressed it through web content, through blogging, and through social media. So these are basically the processes we've been discussing about how to develop a strategy. And this is the format for your summary of what a good strategy should be. And you're going to see that they know what they're going to measure. Actually, they didn't put the time frame in the when they wrote the objectives, but other than that, they are pretty clear regarding the KPIs. So I hope it's helpful. Please take a look at of each case this week, as they will also aid you in the process of developing content for your client.